On October 24th, 1945 is considered the day of UN Organization Foundation. Since that day, the greater part of world countries have become the members of this prestigious international organization. On March 2nd, 1992, Turkmenistan became full-fledged UN member. Since those times, especially in the epoch of new revival and great reforms, relation between Turkmen state and the UN gained high level. Confirmation to the above mentioned so unanimous maintained by world countries of the initiatives of the same president, put forward from the high podium of the international authoritative organization. Successes obtained by the UN and the Turkmenistan are worthy of particular attention. For the short period of time, Turkmenistan twice became vice chairman of the UN.
Дорогие друзья,
this year we celebrate 65th anniversary of UN organization. 65 years ago, the October 20th, the UN Charter was ratified, and the countries of the world committed themselves to work together to establish global peace, security, justice, equality, and social progress. October 20th is the UN Day. On that day, 65 years ago, the UN basic document, its charter, came into effect, celebrating each year the UN Day. As the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says on the occasion of this day, they reaffirm our global mission and value of the tolerance, mutual respect, and high dignity. We recognize the achievements reached together, the increase of literacy, life expectancy, spread of the technologies, success in the democracy and law.
Повышение грамотности, увеличение продолжительности жизни, распространение технологий, успехи в области демократии и законности.
The UN Day is a holiday for all nations of the world. We celebrate this day to confirm our commitment to the ideals of the United Nations organization as an organization capable to put an end to the violation and strengthen tolerance, assist the development and ensure the equality, protect the human rights and elevate the poverty. The celebration of the UN Day is a reaffirmation of our belief.
2001 is an important year in many ways for the UN. On the UN Day, 24th of October, we are celebrating the 65th anniversary for the founding charter of the United Nations. But it's also important for UNHCR because this year we are marking our 60th anniversary. And moreover, it is 15 years since UNHCR established their office in Turkmenistan.
Since the moment of our establishment, our multilateral organization, consisting of 192 countries of the world, gained the unprecedented results in the support of the social development, ensuring the human rights, security and improvement of life of millions of people in all corners of the world. In 1995, all 185 UN members made a proposal on confirming neutrality status to the independent Turkmenistan. Undoubtedly, it's a proof the high trust and respect of prestigious international organization to Turkmenistan, which has been strengthened for the last years. Today, Turkmenistan is among countries UN members and demonstrates its activity, puts forth initiatives aimed at keeping peace on the globe. These activities were expandedly supported by the world community. As a UN resident coordinator in Turkmenistan, I completely support these efforts of Turkmenistan. On the national scale, the support of the sustainable development of Turkmenistan is one of the most important tasks of our organization. The UNDAF program designed up 2015 is also oriented to it. It's approved by the government of Turkmenistan and implemented jointly with the government of Turkmenistan. The government of Turkmenistan closely cooperates with the UN agencies to implement recommendations on achievement of Millennium Development Goals. Turkmenistan is among the leading countries which gained the eradication of some serious diseases, certified the first among the CIS countries and the fourth in the world. Within the cooperation with the UNICEF and the UN agencies, the country successfully implements the breastfeeding program, combat against anemia, and immunoprophylaxis program. Several days ago, Turkmenistan was recognized and received the international certificate as a malaria-free country. It's remarkable that in this respect, Turkmenistan is absolute leader among the 53 countries belonging to the World Health Organization European region. Recently, the World Health Organization marked and declared Turkmenistan as a country free from malaria. I would like to use this opportunity and congratulate Turkmenistan, Turkmen people, Minister of Healthcare and National Office of the World Health Organization on these impressive results.
И Всемирная организация, Национальный офис Всемирной организации здравоохранения с этим очень впечатляющими результатами.
Это результат титанического труда.
This is a result of the titanic labor of the state structures responsible for the healthcare and their cooperation with the UN agencies as the World Health Organization, UNICEF and others, knows the importance of malaria eradication, which is one of the Millennium Development Goals. President of Turkmenistan works on consolidation of further efforts for upgrading of the national healthcare system to the world standards through the achieved cooperation with the international organization. UN Children's Fund closely and fruitfully cooperates with the government of the country in the area of women's rights and the state of children and women. This cooperation started in 1992, immediately after gaining independence by Turkmenistan, which continues within the frames of the UNDP and 2010-2015. It's a frame program of the UN representation in the country.
В настоящее время продолжается в рамках новой страновой программы на 2010-2015 годы, которая, в свою очередь, является частью рамочной программы представительства ООН в стране.
This document, which we call shortly UNDAF, is actually the UN strategic program on actions in Turkmenistan based on the national priorities of the country and aimed at support of programs of reforms initiated by the President of Turkmenistan. For the latest 15 years of the joint cooperation of Turkmenistan and the UN agencies, a lot of important results have been achieved in the environmental protection and the efficient energy consumption, democratic reforms, maternity and child health protection, reproductive health, education, human rights, socio-economic reforms, border control and prevention from the organized crime and drug addiction.
Оказание поддержки лицам без гражданства, социально-экономических реформ, контроля за границами и предотвращения организованной преступности и наркозависимости.
For the time being, or when we speak, there are not so many refugees left. And the government has gradually taken over many of the responsibilities that UNHCR used to uphold. In this way, and because of this, UNHCR's focus has shifted during the last years from previous working with refugees, now working mainly on the problem or the issue of statelessness. Together with the government, we have developed a framework for how to deal with the issue of many people living in this country who fail to register their nationality as a result or after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And they are now left with old Soviet passports which are not longer valid. In this connection, and as part of the work with the government hosted the regional conference to address the issue of statelessness all over the region of Central Asia. During the last period, we are also working with the government to develop new travel documents for both stateless persons and refugees, in line with international standards and conventions.
За этот относительно короткий
For
промежуток
this very
времени
short period of time, Turkmenistan joined to the all basic conventions on the human rights, including the Convention of the Rights of the Child and Convention of the Elimination of all forms of the discrimination against women. The Interdepartmental Commission to monitor and relevance of the national laws to international standards has been established. The process of large-scale reforms aimed at the improvement of legislative environment and the raising of living standards of the population. For the recent years, the state programs aimed at the priority social aspect have been adopted and expanded. They are as follows: the National Program on Socio-Economic Development for 2011-2030 and the National Rural Development Program of Turkmenistan up to 2020. These programs are the great extent in the harmony with the largest global visions and recommendation of the UN, and in particular the UNICEF for achievement of the Millennium Development Goals. They advise the governments not to focus on the achievement of the goals in general, on the average for the country, but they concentrate their efforts on the phasing out the distinctions in the well-being of the urban and rural resident, central and remote regions.
не столько на достижение этих целей в целом и в среднем для страны, сколько направить усилия на стирание различий в благосостоянии жителей города и села, центральных и отдаленных регионов.
В течение всех этих лет
During the years of independence, the UNDP jointly with the other UN agencies worked with the country in support of all that undertakings and reforms which realized by the Turkmenistan. It's pleasant to note that Turkmenistan ratified almost all the main conventions on the human rights. Presently, the country delivers first accounts on the implementation.
и в настоящее время уже представляет первые отчеты по их исполнению.
Эти масштабные государственные социальные
These large-scale state social programs, together with the specialized programs such as health, secure maternity, early childhood development, reforms in education and others, as well as legislative acts such as law on the guarantee of the child's rights, on breastfeeding and nutrition of the small kids, law on the security of the foodstuff, so as a food fundament for the conduct of social policy aimed at the further improvement of the welfare and life quality of the people, and complete achievement of the obligation of the government on the Millennium Development Goals.